Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
This is the weather we were promised for Cannes, right?
Yes, today is delicious. I'm leaving tomorrow, and it's finally turning into what I remember it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Very happy to be awake so early in Cannes. We are weird.
By
people
Cannes
here.
standards, this is like sunrise. At 10 a.m. to start the day this way. People think you're crazy to do this, but I think it's perfect. When was your first Cannes?
It was very long ago, more than 20 years ago.
Wow.
I remember it was the year of Amores Perros here. Gael had that film, and we had done Y Tu Mamá También, and Alfonso decided we should come to sell it here. So we came, we witnessed the whole experience of Amores Perros, which was fantastic. The way it hit the festival, you know, it was in the Critics Week, and suddenly it was the film everyone was talking about, and it was wonderful because we were like a huge team of Mexicans following this film, you know, and the parties were amazing. And that year, Alfonso told me, like, get ready, it's good you're here, because we're doing the same thing next year with Y Tu Mamá. And Y Tu Mamá ended up going to Venice, not here. But that was the first moment in Cannes. And then the first film I had here was 16 years ago.
Oh, wow.
As a director. And I came before as an actor, but and as a producer too. But as a director, it's a different experience.
Really?
You know? Yeah. And I came and I said, wow, this is amazing. It was my first fiction. We screened, it went well. There was good reviews. Everything seemed to be perfect. And I went back to Mexico saying, okay, next time I do another film, I'll come back. And it didn't happen till,
It took this long
till 3 days ago.
to get back here.
As a director, yeah.
Yeah. So your directing career is really almost as old as your acting career. You've been kind of focusing on going behind the camera for such a long time. Did you always kind of go into this saying that you wanted to do both? Or was there a kind of a moment where you said, oh, I am a director and I want to do this?
Yeah, that took a lot of time. And I think the first step was to be a producer and to have the opportunity to witness from a different perspective the process of other directors. I think as an actor, I was always a little too curious, you know, about what everyone else was doing. You know, while actors...
Like on the set, you're asking everybody about their jobs?
Or just like stay longer than I'm asked for, and be distracted with what everyone's doing. You know, while actors are in their bubble, I'm normally like on the other side talking to people, finding out what their issue is, how they're solving it. I just love the process. I come from theater where an actor is pretty much just another part of the team, not this thing that you know, not this job of coming into the last minute and giving life to something. You're there to work on your clothes. You're there to help others get dressed.
You're collaborating. You're creating it together.
Yeah, it's like a troupe, you know, and I'm used to working that way. So for me, acting got a little too restrictive. You know, I just really wanted to be present longer. I wanted to be there to give my opinion when there was an opportunity of having an impact in the end result. As an actor, you arrive and the location is this, the costume is this, and I like the idea of understanding why things are what they are, you know? So I started producing first, and then I think it was not until I had my first son that I said, I'm ready to direct, you know? It came with that.
I'm bossing this kid around. I can boss some people around on a set.
I don't think it's that. I think it's like, oh shit, I have something to say. You know?
Yeah.
I wanna tell a story. You know, as an actor, you should be a tool for someone else's perspective, point of view. You can share it. You can enrich that point of view. But it's always about that point of view. The cinema I like is the one that follows a lead, you know, that has a force behind, that everyone joins and serves in the best possible way, right? You collaborate, but you cannot fight the vision, you know. You have to join it and give yourself to it. and there's a moment where you go like, well, I have a story I want to tell, and you shouldn't be trying to impose that as an actor,
Yeah.
It's better to go and produce or direct or do something else.
And for Ashes, part of what makes it so powerful is it's got this, this personal influence that you brought to it, and it's such an emotional story that's not your own story. It's based on this novel that you adapted. But I imagine when you're working with your actors, that digging into that personal connection to it, that as a director, that you bring that to them. And I'm curious about your approach to working with actors on this film in particular, which is so intimate and actor driven. And how do you do that leadership that you're talking about with them for Ashes?
I think the first thing I do is I try to read who's in front. I for me it's really important to have enough sessions before you go on trying to execute, where you get to know and establish a language, a common language with the actors, because not actors are not the same. You cannot pretend it's like a monolithic thing. Like each actor has his process, has his view, and on this one, I was spending a lot of time with Anna first. Anna carries the film.
Anna Diaz, who's the lead
Anna
of the film,
Diaz, yeah, she carries the film. Everything is seen through her perspective. So I had to spend a lot of time explaining to her what film I wanted to do. After she read the film I gave her, I wanted to explain what film was that going to be and what mattered to me, because this is a film not necessarily about what happens to her, but how she receives what's given, by other characters, by the context and reality. And I explained to her that many times I was going to be trying to talk to her through the takes, because on this one, a lot of the stuff happens out of frame, and I don't want you to see it. I want you to feel it through her. So it was very important to be on the same page, But with other actors, I wanted to keep a lot of information from them and just expose them to that on set. So it's different, and it depends on what you want to trigger. What I can tell you is that I every time I direct, I try to build the perfect scenario for actors to do their work. To me, it's crucial to deliver and to put everything I know there. I've had every type of experience. I've done so many films. I started acting really young. Then I did big films in the States. I did very small independent films that had to find the film outside and steal from reality as much as you could, And I think there is a moment when if you give actors what's needed, you can actually get very lucky and find out something you didn't know was possible. I truly respect the process of actors, but I believe in that. I believe that the most beautiful thing of film is that it doesn't matter how much you prepare something. Suddenly, when it's happening, it tells you something you were not aware of, and that's when the movie becomes special and unique, and it becomes your movie in that moment, because you are witnessing something that suddenly transforms your vision. And for me, the important thing of this process is to live a transformation, to go through an experience that changes you. That's the only way you can aspire to bring something interesting to an audience.
And that's true of every movie you've made, not just Ashes, but...
I try, yes. No, definitely. I do. I search for that, I guess.
Well, you say you create the perfect environment for actors on your set. What is that? Is that quiet? Is that space? Is that listening to them? Oh, yeah.
There's water everywhere. No, thank you.
Everyone has to be very hydrated on your set, is what we're...
Yes, a glass.
What we're learning.
Sorry to...
This is live. This is the power of live conversation.
I need water at 10 a.m. I think the first thing for me is understanding, and you have to take the time to explain everyone what they're doing. I've worked with directors that like the opposite, that like to throw you there and see how you find yourself out, of the. For me, when actors are informed, when actors are aware, they become amazing partners.
When they're like the theater thing that you were talking about, like being part of the collaboration.
Yeah, but like I don't think exposing actors to a moment that they're not expecting gives you anything but like a shock, you know. And I believe acting is like you've been shocked by something. It's quite easy. That's not a problem, I think what's a problem is deeper. You have to understand every impulse of your character. I think Anna on this film knows perfectly why she makes every decision on the journey of Lucila. And that's because we talked a lot, and when it didn't make sense to her, I had to find a way to explain, and take my time. And directors many times don't take that time, or many times they don't even know,
Or the actor just doesn't feel like they can get that information from them, right? Like that's a relationship that you're building, that you have the ability to bounce off of each other in that way.
Yes. And confidence, full confidence. They can tell me anything they're feeling, they're seeing, they're getting stuck with. I'm there to listen. I also explain to them when is the time for depth, and when is the time to stop everything and get it right, and when we need them to open the door and go into the room, and then we'll figure out what happens inside the room, because the water is coming or lunch break is in 2 minutes, and they become partners. They like knowing what's going on, at least on the set I work. I don't want to keep them away from information, because that has, you lose confidence, basically. You're not sure, you're not stepping on solid ground, One other thing that to me is crucial is to explain the point of view that the film is looking for, many times in this film, we are not necessarily telling you what happened. We're telling you how she felt in that moment, what she saw, and what she couldn't see. A lot of the stuff, for example, there was a lot of conversations that happen in another room and that she listens. And it was important to make sure we created that. Like it's difficult to act that,
Yeah, because she's a character who's, she's making this choice to move to Spain, but it's kind of not her choice. Her mother's gone there before. It's like she's reacting to a lot of what is happening around her, as you were saying. But it's not that she's a dull character. She's making those choices, and a lot of it is just seeing and how she responds to all of that stuff. But that's a tricky thing to do as an actor and a director, I think, to have a character who's not driving the action, but is still so compelling. So
yes,
that's that collaboration, right?
I said to her, like, if it feels like nothing's happening, that's when it will start happening, because this is not a film about the highlights of the life of someone. It's about the everyday life. So you realize, damn, there's people that don't actually have time to be free, to be happy, to enjoy. Like it's about a community that has very little time for themselves. She's always doing something for her brother, for whoever she's taking care of. She's moving from A to B. Like, but you don't, like, the moment she opens a beer, she's in a bus driving, People go to bars to do that. This character has no time to be free, to be herself, and she's in the search for that. But you have to understand that everything around her forces her to be doing something. Otherwise there's no meaning for her in this society.
You're kind of stealing these moments with her to kind of see her as a person when she has, 2 seconds let her guard down in some way.
Exactly.
So this is the first feature you've made in I think about 10 years. You've made some television in the as a director.
I think it was 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have this work as an actor. I think Andor is a many-year process. Like, how are you figuring out, okay, I have the time to direct something? Are you kind of waiting for the story to come and grab you by the throat? Are you constantly trying to get something doing? How are you just balancing those two sides of your career?
I was doing okay. I was, but then like TV came in the way, and it's just I did Narcos that took 2 years and a half. It was 2 seasons, and then we did Andor that took 6 years.
Yeah.
So basically, that's the 8 years I stopped doing films as a director. I did produce other stuff, which was very healthy, and it was nice, and it allowed me to breathe a little bit from acting and from the intensity of television. The problem of television is that you cannot celebrate the end of a process because the other is already starting, Like you're always doing something. You're in pre-production, production, promotion, pre-production,
Yeah.
There is no time to breathe. And as soon as I finish Andor, I said like, okay, I'm going to take the time. I'm going to make space, and I'm going to start prepping, and I'm going to let this film tell me when it's ready, and I'll stop everything to do it, And I feel so much better now. I think in like film, I like stories that last 2 hours. That doesn't mean I won't do television again, but I like to do television if it has the rigor and kind of like the structure of filmmaking,
Yeah.
I think I'm too old to change, to learn a new language.
Well, it also just feels like you're making something like Andor that's so epic and well done. And it's like, it's hard to get better than that. So maybe end on that.
But if you think about it, Andor was each block was
it was like its own film.
Was 4 films.
Yeah.
Was like each season, was 4 films, and it was like 3 episodes were directed by one director. It had a vision. It had a beginning and an end. On the second season, that's like very clear. It's 4 films put together, and that gives you, at least I understand that language.
You have like an arc that you can follow through it.
Yes, you don't get lost. You're going from here to here.
Yeah.
Working without knowing the end, I think it's very unhealthy.
Which is how so much of television works, where you should sign up and who knows how long it might run. So when you go on, you're working on something like Andor, and you're on these massive sets and these massive projects, and then you're filming Ashes, and you're on a bus with one character. You're like, oh my God, this is so much easier. Or is it harder when you reduce the scale in that way and it's just these people?
It is harder, I would say, it is harder because the other thing of creating the perfect scenario for actors is to be in control of everything that happens around them, to make sure they understand they're safe. Everything around them, it's your input. You're in control. You're not going to expose them to something that is out of control,
Yeah.
That's when independent filmmaking goes crazy. I remember doing, which is good to go crazy sometimes. I remember doing Mr. Lonely with Harmony Korine, and France was celebrating the World Cup. I think they went through semifinals, and they were reaching the final. And he said, "Let's dress as a character. Let's go out, and let's bring the camera and start shooting."
Makes it
with
sound easy.
People celebrating and you being miserable walking through them. And, oh shit! I was miserable. He was hectic. He got great shots for the film, but the process for me was very difficult to handle because I knew that nothing in front of me was aware of the fiction I was being part of. So anyway, going back to the question is, being in control with very little tools, with a small team, being in control of everything is difficult, it's difficult. And in Andor, it was different. Like in Andor, what's difficult is the pre-production, But once you get there, and we were working with the best of the best, everything is on place and works.
Yeah, you've created a world to make everything actually
I
work.
mean, things actually work. You know, I mean, you push buttons and things happen.
Yeah.
And for us, it was different. You know, we slept very little to try to get the next day running.
Yeah.
And but we succeeded. We succeeded.
So, having, you were saying earlier that with Ashes, you said the film will tell me when it's ready to make. When you premiere it at Cannes and kind of have that moment of saying, okay, it's done. Like, do you feel like you're kind of letting it go out into the world? What does it feel like to work like this on something and then have it go out and be seen by people?
It's very sad. I have to say that it took time for me to get excited about the experience. The first 10, 15 minutes of the screening, suddenly you realize it's not yours anymore. It doesn't matter what you feel, what you think. It's about those around you. And it took me time to be able to witness and to enjoy the journey through the experience of others. It took me time. And then towards the end, you realize, whoa, I could keep working on this forever, but now it is over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now there is nothing I can tell you about the film that would change the way you experience the film.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of filmmaking, no?
Yeah.
The
belongs to other people when
the day you deliver, audience is as crucial as directors were, because it's your own experience. You end up redirecting the film somehow when you watch it, and there's nothing the director can do about it. You know? So it was fun, but it's hard, and I guess it's a very melancholic process. It was an interesting night. I was very close to crying many times. But also very pleased to witness that stuff I wanted to hit in this particular way or in this other way, it worked.
Yeah.
There was a few moments, and the audience was so interesting because there was a bunch of Mexicans, I would say like a good quarter of the audience was Mexican. Wow. A good third was Latin American, Spanish speakers. So they were really proud of the film. They were really happy to see a film they connect with, they understand. They don't have to read subtitles. That doesn't happen often in Cannes.
Yeah.
You're normally doing this. This one they could they could witness and live the full experience. But then there was the other part of the audience, and they were reacting to different moments.
Oh, interesting.
And those who speak Spanish were laughing in a moment, and then the others laughed a second later because they were reading
up and read the
subtitles.
subtitle.
Then silences would be so strong and deep, and it's a film about those who live. It's about migration. It's about leaving everything behind, and that experience and feeling you don't belong. But it's also about those who receive. And today, you cannot be out of this equation. You are in one side or the other. Migration is happening, and it's just growing and growing. And so it's very difficult not to see yourself in one of the characters or in one of the moments you witness, And because it's also about the subtle rejections, the subtle violence that she finds, those acts of the worst part of humankind. They're there. And many times you go like, oh, damn, I've seen that, or I've been that person, or I was there and didn't act.
Yeah.
And I could feel that, and it was interesting because it was quite a diverse audience, the one we had. Europeans, filmmakers, but regular audience that also bought tickets without knowing what they were watching many months ago. And then people that are here to watch that film and they flew back the next day.
Wow.
All of that in the same room. It was very charged, emotionally charged,
Yeah, well, I feel like it's what you come to Cannes for. You get the big audience and the widest range of people to see your film. Well, congratulations on the premiere and on the film, and thank you for coming here to talk to me about it. I really appreciate it.
For letting me talk.
Good morning. What a great start to the day. you.
Thank you.